And then I'm suddenly getting like calls and inquiries from service providers that are vegan, that are plant-based, that I never even thought of like as relevant candidates for the platform. Like I spoke with someone who is a nutritionist. That's like obviously like a nature, like a natural fit, but also a psychiatrist that is plant-based. And I thought, well, what is the connection between, therapy to plant-based consumption? And apparently, there is a growing demand for service providers that understand where you're coming from. I think that plant-based consumption and veganism, once you're into it, I certainly do not understand how you can reverse that and unsee that.
Welcome, everybody. We are here at the Climate and Cuisine podcast. And today I'm lucky enough to have my guest, Jonathan Faran. He is the creator of Vegan America. And I am lucky enough to have my products on his platform. And we're going to find out today how he started it, what provoked him to start it, where it's going in the future, and how we can help spread the word. So, Jonathan, tell me how did you come up with this concept, Vegan America?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you so much for having me today. I'm really excited about it. So Vegan America started as some kind of a passion project. I thought, like, how can I make plant-based consumption more accessible, more affordable? That's the goal we had in mind, and that's the goal we still have in mind. And yeah, so I just wanted to make it easier for people to consume plant-based, to find the plant-based products. I actually graduated from the University of Chicago from the business school last year, and I boldly remember I needed dress shoes for my events, for my school events. So I was living in downtown Chicago, and I was knocking on like on doors of like Nike and like other stores there, and I just needed like non-leather shoes, and everybody looked at me with like empty eyes, like I was asking something that is not like, yeah, out of this world. And I knew these products existed, and I looked on Amazon, and all I could find are cheap plastics replacements. So I was like, well, I know there are other options out there. How come nobody has gathered all the option into one platform that will make it easier for me to kind of like purchase plant-based? So yeah, so this is how the idea kind of struck me. Yeah.
So that was your light bulb moment. You were like,
Yes.
if I'm not the only person in this world that shops that way, right? We are more and more ethically shopping and finding out where things are from and the materials and it's so important these days. I think it's a conversation that most of us are having. So the fact that that was your light bulb moment, I love that. So what did you end up doing for
Yeah,
the shoes?
so yeah, for the shoes, I bought some plastic like shoes on Amazon that got ripped off after like 2 times I was using them. I don't know, it was a bad experience. But yeah, I've been vegetarian since I was 4 years old. Literally, the moment I understood what I was eating, it looked weird to me back then. It does still look weird to me today. And I was a very stubborn kid. My parents, unfortunately, eat meat up until this day. So I was kind of rebelling against my parents. But yeah, so vegetarian at 4, vegan for the last 10 years. So, through business school, I thought, how can I combine my like will to create impact in the plant-based space with like a business initiative? And after like the idea kind of like strike me, um, we did a lot of I teamed up with my co-founder, who's been vegan for 25 years. He used to be my previous employer, by the way. I used to work for him. And then he became some kind of my mentor, then a good friend of mine, and then we started this business together. And we started thinking, hey, what can we do? And there are a lot of things that you can do in order to make plant-based consumption more accessible and affordable. And then we have a lot of plans, but the marketplace, we saw it as the lowest hanging fruit. in terms of like, time to execute that and like the investment we need to put in. And I actually thought of the idea or like came up with the idea in my second year. Um, and validated that. And we took that to the University of Chicago to the business school accelerator. And that was kind of cool because the school wasn't really like familiar with plant-based consumption. Nobody was talking about that. And we took that to the competition. We got in and we did pretty well. And then suddenly, the school like officials like reach out to me and say, "Hey, Jonathan, I know that you're building something in the plant-based space. We want to make the school more vegan friendly. How can we do that?" And I was like, whoa, that's like one of the top business school in the world. And they're just asking me how to make the entire school and maybe, I don't know, perhaps the university more plant-based, like, friendly. And we got a lot of positive feedback from the judges that came to judge in our like in competition. And then after I graduated, we literally like launched the company. It took us like a few months to figure out what's the best way to come up with the platform. Luckily for us, we had started to build a social media page much before like we actually started the company. So by the time we thought about it, we had almost 200,000 followers on Instagram. We were collaborating with many content creators, creating content of our own, and it helped us to bring the first vendors in. It's always like a chicken and egg problem in marketplaces. You need to bring the buyers, but you need to bring the vendors before that. And if you don't have like the buyers, the vendors won't want to kind of opt in. So the social media aspect kind of helped us bring the vendors in. And then, we started to kind of like build that, bringing more traffic, more vendors, more traffic, more vendors. And it took us like 4 or 5 months to become the largest plant-based, like 100% plant-based marketplace in the world. We have more than 400 sellers, and all across categories, food, fashion, cosmetics, home and household products. And throughout this journey, you understand how much we use animal ingredients in our daily lives, even without noticing that. Um, to whoever's going to listen to that, just be aware to the fact that we wash our clothes with animal ingredients. We wash our dishes. We even brush our teeth with animal ingredients. Why? Like it sounds crazy to me. Like I understand or I don't understand, but people can argue about eating animals and eating animal ingredients. We have a lot of good like answers to them, but why use animal ingredients in like other aspects of your life? Like why wear animal like skin? Why brush your teeth with animal ingredients? That makes zero sense to me, and I'm not sure how people can defend that. So basically, on Vegan America today, you're able to find many different products to a lot of different aspects in your life, and many vendors opt in on a weekly basis. And we see customers joining to you and start building trust in the platform. And like I do with consumers, it takes time to build trust with them, to spread the word out. So yeah, that's where we stand today, and it's going pretty well, I'd say.
So that's so interesting to me. I don't know if I've ever actually had that conversation with somebody about the fact that we are using a lot of things that we're not even paying attention to, like the toothpaste. So is it the toothpaste or the toothbrush? Like what animal products are going into our oral care? I didn't even know
So
that.
yeah, so many. It's the toothpaste, mostly. All the big brands has glycerin in the toothpaste. I think it's glycerin, don't catch me by the ingredient, but it uses animal fat as the base for the ingredient that is included in the toothpaste, all the biggest ones. I think that Colgate has they tested with launching a vegan toothpaste somewhere back in time, but they just I don't know it didn't go that well. But then it's weird that they need to even like launch a vegan version. Why don't do like a 100% plant-based or vegan version of toothpaste? And there are many brands that do that. I just had a call with one brand today, and there is another brand selling on the website already. And there are a lot of brands that do that. And if, like Tom's of Maine, for example, they're my favorite, and I'm trying to bring them into the platform. So if someone hears that and connected with them, please let me know. They are my
That's my
favorite.
favorite too.
I love their products, and there are
Yeah.
a lot of amazing other brands that do that. Yeah, so we use them on a you use animal ingredients on a daily basis for no reason, seriously. Just because it's cheap, it's like for the companies to use these materials instead of like buying new ones.
Yeah, and another thing too, like I just had this conversation this morning with one of my clients. Um, when I go to order any kind of vitamin supplement, I always have to put in vegan, cruelty free, because people don't even think that the capsule that they're putting into their body is made from gelatin. And it's like it's so unnecessary anymore. Like I don't the fact that I have to search that out, right, makes no sense anymore.
Zero
It's
cents,
right.
yeah, 0 cents, and also supplement is a really interesting like a niche. I think it's not a niche; it's an interesting market because it's not only like there are a lot of ambiguity about like whether the product is plant-based or not. A lot of supplements has such a long list of ingredients that for us who care about plant-based consumption, just to go through the label, it's a nightmare. Okay. So I'm really thankful for all the companies that mark their products as vegan, but the problem is many companies don't do that while some of the products are vegan. So one of the reasons Vegan America, I think, we managed to grow in this space is that the fact that, well, we're vetting the vendors, we are vetting the products. Okay, there are more than 400 sellers on the platform. I spoke to each and every one myself, and after they commit to only on board upload, sorry, plant-based product, this is one of the steps in the onboarding process. We are still vetting the products ourselves, and we even built like AI agents that help us do that to make sure that the products are plant-based, to make sure that no mistakes, although mistakes happen sometimes, unfortunately, but we're getting like better at that. Um, yeah.
And you're also helping smaller businesses get to grow too, right? Because you've provided this platform for them and you vetted them. So now the consumer that goes on there can look at the variety and feel comfortable knowing like that what they are ordering is an ethical, better choice for their bodies, for the earth, for climate, for everything. And I think that takes out some of the work that we initially had to do for so long to search those products out, right? You reading the ingredients, looking up words to make sure, what is that? I never saw that word before. What does that mean? I'm putting that into my body. Is it plant-based or is it animal derived? It's like a lot of times the words are words you've never heard of and they can disguise them. So I think it's awesome that you've created this platform and for over 400 sellers. That's impressive.
Yeah, thank you. I'd say that there are a lot of ingredients that you as a consumer, you cannot even possibly know what's their origin. Okay? When you see glycerin on a list of products, it just mentioned the name of the ingredient. It has like dual origin. It can be plant derived or animal derived. You as a consumer, you cannot know that unless someone else is vetting it for you or the product itself brings it up front and states out loud, hey, this product is either plant-based or vegan. And yeah, this is like one of the, I think, problems we solve for consumers. Hey, these products are plant-based. We did the work for you. And regarding like empowering small brands, yes, for sure. I think that many brands get buried on Amazon if they want to start selling on Amazon. I'm coming from an e-commerce background. I worked for one of the major e-commerce brands aggregators, so hands-on on multiple brands that were selling mostly on Amazon. I know how hard it is, one, to launch a small business and to get listed on Amazon. The advertising costs, the logistics costs, yeah, even if you do make a profit on Amazon, it's getting eaten very easily by their commission and their like ad spend. So we do empower small brands, and I must say regarding that, you know, 2 months ago, we were at the Expo West in the near LA, and we saw all the new brands, or a lot of new brands that are now emerging. And one, it's a game of attention, right? Consumers has such limited attention span in today's like internet. So you need to get the word out there, and you need to get the product to into people's mouth, if that's food, obviously, to try them. And it's an endless war, and we see like vendors and like small brands kind of compete about that. Two, I must say regarding something that, my main conclusion from this event, and I don't know, thousands of exhibitors, is that the plant-based movement, I'm not sure why people try to categorize that as like a movement or as whatever. There are so many plant-based options, so many plant-based vegan options, new companies that are selling these products. It's endless, okay? So we're getting a lot of, I think, feedback from people that the plant-based movement is dying, is like in a problem or something. No, it's simply just shifted its focus from like meat alternatives to other aspects of plant-based consumption. And that's okay, that's fine, that's maturing. There was a bubble like 6 years ago in terms of investment, in terms of like ROI, in like time to market. Well, there are so many good plant-based products out there. Um, and what we do is just try to bring them into one central resource that will make it easier for you, the consumers, to find them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's such an important point because I heard that from somebody the other day too that the plant-based space is dying. I was like, are you crazy? Like if anything, it's the complete opposite. You know, I don't know where they were getting their facts if they were deriving that from just their own experience. But do you do you think that the word vegan and plant-based is so different that vegan has a bad negative connotation where plant-based is more of a positive? Aren't they the same thing really in retrospect?
Um, I think that in 95, 97% of cases, they are the same. Okay. I think there is like a slight difference between them. People try or people tend to kind of divide them into a philosophy versus a diet, right? Like veganism is a philosophy of life. Like I do not want to harm any living creatures for my own benefit, while I can thrive on getting whatever I need from plants. Okay, that's a philosophy. While plant-based is like the daily routine of that, I'd say. Like, hey, I consume only products and ingredients that were made from plants, that plant-based. People tend to kind of mix them up. Well, I think many people kind of try to bring this like discussion to the front and ask like what's important and what's selling better. I read a lot of like research about what's selling better, and there's like a solid answer to what's selling better. But the concept behind it, well, I think the concept behind it, that's what matters. Like, we do not want to harm animals. There are three aspects to plant-based consumption in general. One is the philosophy about like we don't want to harm any living creatures. Two, the consequences, the environmental consequences of animal-derived products and ingredients are horrific. Like, you cannot debate on that. This is like facts, okay? And third, there's the health issue that people can argue to both sides. Although, well, the more I look into it, the more I understand that it's like healthier. Okay. In so many like experts say that, Brian Johnson, the longevity guy, do you know him?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. Okay, great. So, I think, well, you can say a lot of things in general about like animal consumption. Well, this guy researched longevity. I think he invested so much money into it. He eats 100% plant-based on a 100% plant-based diet. And also you can look at Blue Zones, the movie, and also like the company. Their entire like, concept is around plant-based consumption because it's healthier to you. So yeah, so if you look at this like three different aspects of plant-based consumption, I think that what matters, not like the title if it's like plant-based or vegan. Although like I understand the people that kind of try to differentiate between them too. But yeah, I think yeah, the message behind it, that's what we should stick to, regardless of the term. Many people advise us to omit the word vegan from Vegan America or try plant-based America. Others kind of like told us to omit the word America from the name. I don't know, many people try it. We are very mission-driven impact-oriented company. We do not run away from like terms, even if they have bad connotation for some reason. We are trying to make impact here. And Robert Chick, which I really like, the famous vegan
Good friend of mine.
amazing. He's an amazing guy. He was among the first one to speak with us before we even got an idea. We were in the ideation phase. He sent us his book, The Impactful Vegan. I read that in like 2 hours. Like seriously, I swallowed the book. And he has one chapter that speaks about impact, not about being right, not about being like, yeah, they are wrong and I'm right. No, it's about creating impact. That's it. That's what important. Okay. So like, yeah, we didn't change the name. We do not run from the word vegan. And we do not try to kind of like, hey, this is a platform for vegans too. But we are trying to advertise it. Like everyone is welcome. We're meeting people where they are. But well, in the same time, I don't think that many companies are trying to build a product that is aimed at vegans, okay, vegan vegetarians. This is where that's our audience, okay? Why? Because they are, they have this like set of values that we want to build for them, and the market is big enough. It's big enough. There are like 4 or 5 million vegans in the US. In 10 years from now, it's going to be like 3x, 4x. Vegetarians are 20, 30. It's inevitable, and we're building something that will serve this group. And this is where we're heading, in how we can create more and more impact for the people who want to consume plant-based.
Yeah, and I think, just to touch back on what you originally said, not to, you don't want to shy away from it. When you say vegan America, then people like me who are vegan know, like anything I'm going to find on this platform, I will be fine with. Whereas maybe some people, if they were plant-based, might be like, well, wait, is it vegan? But so you just laid it out and made it simple for everybody. And I think that was really, really smart. And you're right, we
Yeah.
are growing. And people that are even flexitarian might say, "Oh, okay, I know there's this place where I can that one day a week I want to go vegan, or the one meal, or I want to make these switch to these products. I know there's one platform that will serve me well for any of those things that I am thinking about trying." And I think that's
Mhm.
really important too. And I really like that you are not shying away from it because the movement is not dying at all. I mean, to me, I go to restaurants in my local area, and there'll be vegan short ribs on the menu now, and that is much of a newer thing for this part of town. Even though we do have quite a few vegan options, but like on a regular menu, to see that is really it's impactful to me. It's like, okay, great. I can also eat at this table. I don't have
Yeah.
to bring my own food, right? Like, so I really do think that you're right. I do think it's changing, and we just have to get the information more out there. And I think that's what you're doing. How are you getting the like? How are you raising awareness with your platform besides doing a podcast here and and social media? Like, are there other things that you're doing, like the partnerships that you? Because my product is on your platform. So are there other things that you're doing to help grow the platform?
Yes, sure. So first of all, social media plays an important aspect of the business. As mentioned, like we have 300,000 followers on Instagram. We have 100 plus on Facebook and newsletter with 20,000 readers that goes out twice a week. So just to get the word out there, it's important. Second, I'm trying to myself and my co-founder to attend as many vegan-oriented, animal welfare-oriented events as we can possibly, we can possibly do. I live in New York. Um, there are events here all the time that are, vegan oriented, animal welfare oriented. I'm trying to attend as many as possible. Two, we are trying to build and to be or to attend as many veg fests and like other events across the country that are relevant for us. We cannot be anywhere, but we're trying to be innovative enough to be anywhere. Okay. Yeah, we're building towards that. And there are a lot of other things that we are now like designing, but for whoever's going to listen to that, there are a lot of cool initiative that we're building with the vegan stakeholders. This is how I call them in the US, and there are many of them. And one thing that I learned in my life that if you want people to really um, identify with what you build, make them an active part of what you build. So we have started working with animal welfare organizations, with nonprofits, with events across the country, uh, and we're trying to make them to, be a part of Vegan America. Not even just philosophically, like also in terms of like collaborations that will make them, increase their income. Um, and we're trying to think outside of the box. And it kind of leads me to where we're heading. If you'll ask me where is Vegan America in 5, 10 years, I'd say that this is the one-stop shop you go for everything that's plant-based. Okay. And we will try to bring as many players in the plant-based into this platform to make them a part of it. For example, like a month ago, we started like adding service providers, okay, to the platform. So the vegan squad led by John Thomas, the legendary John Thomas, the bodybuilding vegan, who's a dear friend of ours. His entire squad is there. So if you want to kind of like look for, I don't know, a coach, for a trainer who is plant-based oriented, then you go to Vegan America. And then I'm suddenly getting like calls and inquiries from service providers that are vegan, that are plant-based, that I never even thought of like as relevant candidates for the platform. Like I spoke with someone who is a nutritionist. That's like obviously like a nature, like a natural fit, but also a psychiatrist that is plant-based. And I thought, well, what is the connection between, therapy to plant-based consumption? And apparently there is a growing demand for service providers that understand where you're coming from. I think that plant-based consumption and veganism, once you're into it, I certainly do not understand how you can reverse that and unsee that. And you are sometimes feeling like you're alone. Like I'm sitting in an event and everybody's eating meat here. How come, like, am I the only one who's seeing how twisted it is? And once you see that and you leave that, you want to, I never realized that, but you might want a therapist that understands you and that sees the world is the same as you do, and tries to navigate you through your hardest in life while coming from your position. And yeah, so service providers, and hopefully down the road, we're still like ideating that, incorporate like maybe restaurants and to find out how to create a new hub for plant-based consumption. So this is where we're trying to do, this is what we're trying to build. And yes, it's really exciting to see that grow, to see companies like bigger names started to opt in while empowering the small emerging brands too, to keep that balance. And yeah, and it's challenging, especially in these times of like the AI era. Um, a lot of noise is out there. Attention span is very slim. And I also think that many plant-based consumers are kind of like, well, I've been vegan for 10 years, vegetarians all my life. So I became kind of like pessimistic regarding like, well, is this company really here to serve me or for my benefit, like my benefit? And people are kind of pessimistic. I don't know. They're kind of like, hey, what are you doing? Who are they? Should I trust them? And again, if for anyone who listens to us, we are building a platform for the plant-based consumers. That's our goal. We want you to be a part of it. We want to make your life easier because you make the right choice, in our opinion. Okay? In how we see stuff. Um,
Love
yeah.
that.
And yeah.
I got a little emotional like when you were talking about the therapist. Like that makes a lot of sense. I never thought of it like that, but I sit at tables all the time while everybody is just eating steaks around me and just cheese and things, and I'm just sitting there like, really? Like I can't, I have that feeling of being like alone, very much
Yeah.
alone. Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, and I could see where, like, if I wanted to talk to somebody, I would want them to understand where I'm at, right? Because we're not, we're just out there trying to make the world better and
Hmm.
save animals and be healthier and not, harm the planet. So it's like, why are we looked at, or why do we feel that we're looked at like in a negative light? So I could see where it would be so powerful to have a therapist or somebody to talk to that like understood that. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. And yeah, I think the main problem with plant-based consumption, or one of the main problems, is actually being in a supportive company. People that understand you. Not only they like, I'm not sure why vegans like are the ones to be judged. I don't know. We're trying to make less harm, and we are the one who suffer because of that. But yeah, there are so many people who care about that out there. Even if you're in a table with meat eaters, and I understand why, like, I understand like the feeling. I've been there like so many times in my life. You are not alone, and people are not alone, and you cannot kill a movement that cares that in its foundation there is one, like, one main reason to it, which is compassion, which is, hey, that this animal is like a sentient being. I don't want to hurt it. It has feelings. Like, while we can thrive on plants, and it's even better for the planet, and it's even healthier, like, I don't understand what am I losing here. And yeah, and a lot of plant-based like people and vegans go through hard times in like being judged by society, by even family, even close friends. um, while I try that, I encourage you to try that, to kind of debate, ask one of the LLMs like Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini. Ask them, hey, we're in a debate right now. You're here to defend animal like consumption, animal products consumption. While I'm vegan and I'm trying to debate you, please try to debate me. I've done it with all the three LLMs, and at the end, they have nothing to say, and they're supposed to be like, the smartest like entities in the world, and even they
Right.
can find like, good reasoning for animal consumption. There is no one. So yeah, that's
I'm gonna have to
I
try that.
go ahead and try that. It's interesting. Yeah, it's super interesting.
Yeah, I'd like to. I'd love to hear that conversation that you had with them to do that.
I can send you the transcript. It's interesting, yeah. But at the end, seriously, say, well, you are right. Besides, like, I don't know, my own leisure, there is not like a very logical like reason to consume plant-based, to consume, sorry, animal ingredients product. Yeah.
Right. How, so if, when we air this podcast and somebody wants to get their product onto your platform, what is the best way to go about that?
Yeah, sure. So, regarding joining us, I'd say that you know that because you've been through the onboarding process. And I promise that the onboarding process would take 10 minutes. And was I right?
We're
Yeah.
right. I
Okay.
think it was like it was like 9 minutes and 50 seconds or something. I remember looking at the clock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So all of that
you're
just
very helpful.
yeah, thank you. That I just want to say that joining us is free. There is no monthly fees. The platform earns like money only if the vendor gets some sales. So it's very easy. Setup takes 10 minutes, and the best way to reach us out is either by email or through our website. If you go on vegan-america.com, scroll down, there is an application form you can fill as a brand to start selling on Vegan America. And it's super easy and very fast. We also do a lot of free media collaborations with vendors that join us because their success is our success. And if you're interested in like looking at the platform, I'd say go ahead, just try it. We also started this new membership that we put a lot of effort and research into. We call it Plant Preferred. And we are building the company around this membership. Um, you sign up, you get so many benefits, and the benefits will grow and grow as we grow. And just imagine you belong to a very exclusive club of plant-based consumers, and this is our way to kind of thank you for choosing plant-based, for choosing like Vegan America.
I love that. And then on social media, how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so we are on the main platforms. Our handle is vegan and lowercase, two lowercases, and then like Vegan America. Just look it up on Facebook and on Instagram. You can reach out. We're very responsive. We're trying to be as responsive as possible. And
You
yeah,
definitely are responsive. I love that. Yeah,
yeah,
especially helping me to
cool.
get my product on boarded.
Cool, amazing.
Yeah, and since you're talking about collaborations, this is sort of our first. stab at the podcast, but I appreciate you being on today. But I would once we finish up here is I would love to talk to you more about doing some more collaborations, especially working with John Thomas, and I mean just anything to help you grow is going to help us all grow.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're here to make plant-based life just easier. That's what we're trying to do. And yeah, your fantastic brand is like one of the amazing brands that are out there that help the movement grow. And thank you for building it too.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on this podcast with me today. Appreciate your time. I'm excited for it to air, and I look forward to doing another one with you as you grow, and maybe we'll talk next time about like where it's turned. Like what new things are starting to pop up. I love where you're going with it. So thank you so much for your time.
Likewise, thank you for having me.